Hey Magical Sparks, welcome back. It's Sparkle here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I color and blend with markers. By the way, this isn't a tutorial style video, it's just going to be me taking you through my process step by step, and yeah, let's get straight onto it. So I'm going to be splitting this video up into 4 segments, including skin, blending, hair, and galaxy, and I'll have the timestamps in the description below if you want to go and check out specific parts. Alright, now onto the skin. When I'm coloring skin, the first thing I do is I choose a base color, and then I choose a deeper version of that base color to use as the shadow color. And here, as you can see, that's my base color and that's my shadow color. Now the typical way to blend markers is to go with one marker in one direction and then use the other marker from the other direction and just watch as the colors blend. But for skin, I have a bit of a different process. So if, for example, this square area is the skin, I use the base color and just go in without worrying about it being streaky. I just want to get like complete coverage, and then I go ahead and define places where the shadows would be with my darker marker. And finally, I go back in with my base color to blend out those shadows and make sure that the first layer doesn't look streaky anymore. And those are pretty much the 3 steps that I use when I'm coloring skin. Alright, now let's try and apply it to this drawing. So the first thing I did was I took out my swatch card and I picked out the colors I wanted to use. I picked out the base color and the shadow color, and this part's optional, but then I went ahead and picked out a blush color and some more colors to use for shading and shadows. And once I had that figured out, I went straight into it, and like I said before, I went ahead and colored everything with my base color at first. I wasn't worrying about it being streaky, I just wanted to get that coverage, and right after that I went ahead and used the deeper color to define where the shadows would be. For me, I usually add shadows under the neck and the hair, and sometimes on both sides of the face, but it depends on the lighting. And if you guys have seen my old videos, you might know that I have changed my art style, so I'm still trying to figure out how the shading works with this art style, but we'll get there. Anyways, just before I added the base color back onto the skin, I went ahead and added some blush, and then I went in with my base color to blend everything out and get that seamless look. By the way, in case you're wondering, the markers that I'm using are alcohol-based markers. The specific brands I'm using are Arrtx and Ohuhu. I'll have my supplies listed in the description below if you want to go and check that out. And honestly, alcohol-based markers make blending a lot more easier than water-based markers, for me personally. But I think it's worth mentioning that when you're using these types of markers, it's important to use the right type of paper as well to get that good seamless blending. You can use marker paper or even mixed media paper or just thick paper in general that works well with markers. In my case, I'm using this 120 GSM sketchbook, but I have gotten some new sketchbooks and I'm really excited to use them with my markers. Alright, now adding on to how I color skin. Sometimes I like to add a bit of purple around the skin as well because that just adds this pop of color and more depth to your drawing. So I would definitely recommend try that out. It's actually lots of fun. In the past, I've tried to use purple, some different pinks, some reddish colors, some orangish colors, and it just makes the skin look more interesting. But today I decided to go with just purple here and there, but it definitely adds something. Anyways, once I finished coloring the skin, I went ahead and moved on to coloring in her outfit. But just before that, here are the shoutouts for today. Okay, so if I'm being completely honest, whenever I make a drawing, I don't really think about what color I should color the outfit. I know I should probably plan that ahead, but I usually don't think about it. But for some reason, for this drawing today, I already had it in my mind that I was going to color this entire drawing with different shades of blue. So I just went straight in and did that. Oh, and before I talk about this drawing more, let me just go ahead and give you some tips on how I blend. Now, usually blending 2 colors that are similar to each other is pretty self-explanatory, but when it comes to 2 different colors, it's kind of different. For example, this pink and this lavender blue. Now, of course, you can just go ahead and blend them from different directions like we did with the skin at first. It works, but it's a bit more time consuming. You will end up wasting more ink, and I don't think you'll get that perfect look in the end. So that's why what I would recommend is bring in a third color. Bring in a color that is between these 2 colors and use that to blend. So I'm doing the same thing here. I'm going in with the blue and I'm going in with the pink, but I'm leaving a space in the middle. And with that middle color, I'm just blending it into the pink and blending it into the blue. And this way, this was much quicker for me to do it. It wasted less ink and it turned out pretty good as well. So that's pretty much my tips on how to blend. Okay, so now back to this drawing. So what inspired this drawing was, honestly, I just had this random idea to draw this galaxy, or like this girl in front of a galaxy, and I just started sketching. Then I did the line art and I liked the drawing a lot, so I decided to film it. So when I was making this drawing, I went in with the idea that I wanted to add a dark galaxy in the background, which is why I decided to make her outfit light and her hair light as well. So I'm going with a pastel blue theme for her outfit, and I'm making her skirt a little bit dark around areas, but not completely dark, and I made her hair a light color as well. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I've been doing a lot of sketching in my sketchbook and not a lot of finished illustrations. I have a lot of sketches that I still need to do the line art for and color in, but it had been quite a while since I used my markers, so this kind of helped me to get back into it, and it just gave me this random motivation to go and finish those sketches and turn them into finished illustrations. At this point, I'm about 3/4 through my sketchbook and I cannot wait to finish it and start a new one. Alright, and with that I finished up coloring the outfit, and now it's time to look at how I color the hair. So when I'm coloring hair, I choose 3 colors. I choose a base color, I choose a shadow color, and I choose a really dark color. So I'm going to be showing you guys 2 methods for how I color hair. So the first method is one that I often find myself using, and the second one I use sometimes, but how I color hair really does change with every drawing I make. Alright, so for the first method, it's like the skin kind of, just go in with your base color and get that coverage, don't worry about it being streaky. And for your second color, go in with this loose streaky motion and just define where the shadows would be, leave spaces where the light would shine in the hair as well. And then finally get your darkest color, and for this one be much more loose and add less streaks, but just define where those streaks would be in the hair, if that kind of makes sense. And finally, use your base color again to blend everything out and lose the streakiness with your first layer. And that's pretty much that. Now the second method is really similar but kind of different. So for this one, I go in with the darkest color first, and then I go in with the middle color just to go around the edges of those shadows, and finally I blend everything out with the base color. And that's pretty much what the 2 methods are. By the way, I just want to make it clear that this is my method of how I personally color and blend with markers, and I'd be really happy if you guys could be inspired by this or just motivated by this in general, but I would really appreciate it if you don't copy it exactly or copy my art, because this is not a tutorial, it's just my method and I just want to share it with you guys. Thanks for understanding. But anyways, like I said before, I did decide to make the hair a lighter color, and now in this scenario I didn't go in with a base color because my base color was white, which was the same color as the paper. So I went in with my second color and then my darkest color, and finally I used a colorless blender to blend everything out. But as you can tell, it's pretty much the same idea that I used when I was coloring the hair. And now finally we're at the last part of this video, which is how I color in galaxies. So this is pretty experimental, but this is how I do it. So if, for example, the square area is a galaxy, I pretty much just go in and add blobs of the 3 colors I'm using, or the different colors I'm using. In this case it's 3. I went in with pink because it was the lightest, then purple, and then finally the darkest color, which was blue, and then I just went back in with those colors again and blended everything out. And that is pretty much how I do it. And the colors will blend out, but since it's a bit patchy in places, I like to go in and add a couple of stars just to cover up that. Alright, so for this drawing I used my pencil just to faintly outline the areas where I want the galaxy to be, and just a little rectangle behind the character, and then I just went straight in with my colors. At this point it looks like a mess, I know, but it will look like a galaxy in the end, hopefully. I actually found out this method last year when I was just making this random drawing, and I was using my green marker to color in the background, and then the green marker ran out, so I got a pink and I just started randomly coloring, then the pink ran out as well, and then I got like this blue. But in the end I realized that even though the colors were all running out and I was just layering them on top of each other randomly, it ended up looking like a really cool galaxy, and that's when I pretty much found this idea, and I guess I'm trying it out again after ages today. But yeah, like I said, it should look like a pretty abstract thing, but if you want to hide up some patchy spots, just go ahead and use your white gel pen and just add a couple of stars, and then you won't be able to see it as much. And now it's just time to add in the white gel pen highlights and finish this drawing up. Anyways, I hope these tips helped you guys. Yeah, this is just pretty much how I color my drawings. Of course, there's no right or wrong way, but yeah, I hope they helped. And happy coloring! And here's how the final drawing came out. In complete honesty, I like how this drawing turned out in general, but I'm not happy with the face. It looked fine when I was sketching, but I think I kind of just messed up with the line art, but that's okay, I guess you learn from your mistakes. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these tips helped again. Have a fabulous day, stay awesome as always, and I will see you all next time. Bye, Magical Sparks!